Hey there, how's it going? Since October of 2025, I've been dropping a baited camera rig into the Baltimore Inner Harbor to see what's swimming around down there. Frankly, I've gotten way better results than I ever expected, and I wanted to share with you guys what I've been seeing swimming around. With that, let's dive on in and check out what I saw swimming around Fells Point today. So I took this recording on November 8th, 2025, sort of in the area between Bond Street Wharf and the Frederick Douglass Maritime Museum in Fells Point. On screen, I'll throw up a couple of maps sort of showing the area that I was actually filming in and also giving you sort of an idea of the depth that I was actually filming at. In this case, I was only filming about 6 feet deep, give or take. Even though the map on the right shows that it can get up to 12, that's more so as you get out into the channel. In this instance, I'm only filming maybe 6 feet max. Also on screen, I'm going to throw up some of the basic water parameters like water temperature, air temperature, all that good stuff that I pulled from one of the interpretive buoy systems that exist in the harbor, just to give further context for the conditions that I was filming in. As with the last time that I filmed at this spot, it really didn't take too long for fish to start swimming up to the bait. In this case, we had a mama-chung come right up at first, and then we have a couple of silver sides that are starting to kind of dart in and out here. Interestingly, the last time I filmed here, it was essentially immediately a feeding frenzy. That just got much more intense as time went on. Now, I filmed a little bit shorter here. I think it was only 35 minutes-ish, give or take. But the fish, they didn't really form too much of a feeding frenzy until the very end. You still see them, like, you can see some of the silver sides are coming up and sort of pecking at the bait here and there, but they aren't going at it in the exact same way that the last time I filmed here they did. I do have somewhat of a theory as to why the fish aren't really schooling up as much as they were the last time I was here. So, as with last time, you will see some larger fish kind of swimming in and out of frame, and don't worry, I'm going to make sure to actually point them out before I do. But I noticed that there was a lot more larger fish activity today, and they came significantly closer to the camera rig than even I was expecting at the time. Pretty much they're all shad, but they are much larger than the silver sides, the mama chunks, and some of the other minnows that are swimming around right now. So it really wouldn't surprise me if, frankly, the silver sides, all these little guys just don't really feel safe enough right now to actually try and warm up and go after the bait sort of in force. Like, they're very much spread out, and it really takes some of the larger fish activity to die down before they even really go after much of the bait. Regardless, though, it's pretty obvious that they're still at the very least interested in it, because, you can see them sort of darting in and out of frame, coming from the left, coming from the right, and on the left side is sort of where this old pier structure exists. So you'll start to notice that many of the minnows, they just will dart to the left side pretty much because that's safety for them. That's where they can go and hide from some of the bigger fish. In a second here, we're actually going to be able to see one of these larger fish swim right on by on the right side here. This was again likely some sort of shad. I think it's a gizzard shad based off of the look and sort of what I've seen in this particular area and sort of some of the behaviors from that I've seen previously. This recording was also when I was still doing these recordings just in general with the secondary camera that was looking sort of up and out as opposed to directly at the bait. So you'll occasionally get to see sort of some of these fish and just how close they actually get, especially when compared to the last time I came to this part of Fells Point to film. Like, it gets to the point that you can see them basically as clearly as some of the silver sides. Like, I was genuinely surprised how close some of these larger fish were coming. Like, this camera, I'm dropping it directly off of the seawall, so we're talking about insanely shallow water next to some very large structures. This is not open water. We are very much in the shallows in this instance. So, like, the fact that some of these larger shad were coming as close to the camera as they were in this recording, I was extremely surprised. Also, I'm thinking about it because I'm sitting right next to this as well. So these larger fish, they had to have been able to see me kind of up and out of the water. At the very least, they would have been able to see my shadow. So the fact that they were still this comfortable coming up to the camera rig, very surprising for me. I'm actually going to speed up through this next section here a little bit, just because we are actually about to really get to see one of these close drive-bys, essentially, by one of these larger fish in pretty clear detail in a couple seconds. So you're going to see here a whole bunch of silver sides at first, and then from the left side, you're going to see this shadow basically move across the screen. I'm going to put a little red circle like usual just to kind of show you where you need to look. And you're going to see it come across from the left to the right, and then it basically just swings right back around and kind of is going after, at least following this school of silver sides that goes by. I'm not entirely sure if the shad is chasing the silver sides per se, but it seems like it's at the very least following it. So you'll see the school come by and then see it here sort of from the bottom, but from the upper camera, here it is. Similar to the last time I was filming here in Fells Point, it takes a very good amount of time before a lot of the silver sides, the mama chunks, all of the smaller fish really feel comfortable coming back up to the camera again. Interestingly, though, this is sort of the last time we see one of these bigger fish actually come much closer to the camera, and I'm not entirely sure why the bigger fish kind of disappear at this point, but you can tell that the smaller fish very much understand that they aren't really being hunted anymore. So it's at this point that you start to see a lot more silver sides, a lot more mama chunks, and just smaller fish in general come right up to the bait. And this is really when the feeding frenzy really starts to begin, honestly. Like, it'll still be another minute or two before the feeding frenzy begins in earnest, but it's still cool to kind of just sit back and watch the fish swim around, honestly. Like, you can tell that they want to be around the bait. They want to eat, honestly. Like, you can tell that they just keep coming up to it. You'll see one or two of them nibble it at a time, but they don't all go in for it all at once. They're really seemingly just trying to make sure that it's safe to do so for the most part. What is pretty funny though is that, at least for me, it was pretty unexpected to see who actually kind of began the feeding frenzy. You may have seen them sort of darting in and out, so like you see all the silver sides moving in the open water, but you also have the mama chunks that are kind of coming in a little bit more cautiously. They're sticking closer to the bottom, near the sediment, and these are the little guys that actually begin the feeding frenzy for the most part. Like they're a lot more cautious than the silver side seemingly, but once they come out sort of in force, that's when all of the silver sides decide that it's completely safe to just start ripping the bait to shreds per se. Like, here he is. This is the guy that starts the feeding frenzy. And you can see he rips a little piece off, and the silver sides kind of realize, oh, wait, hold on. We can eat this, and this is sort of where it begins. What I do think is kind of funny looking back on this is that you had that first mama chunk come up to the fish, rip a little chunk off, and it almost is like he went back and grabbed his friends in a way. Like you'll see, so like here's some more silver sides, but you can see the mama chunk kind of coming back and he brought another mama chunk. And again, goes right up to the bait, takes a little bit off, rips a little bit off actually, and you can see here comes a third mama chunk, and the silver sides, they start getting a lot more excited. You can see that basically they now realize that it's safe enough to actually go after the bait for the most part. And again, the mama chunks come up, rip some pieces off, and all of the silver sides come and try and get some of the bits that get ripped off by the mama chunks. And this is really, again, where the feeding frenzy begins. Yep, there we go. This is where it starts. That big piece that gets brought off brings all of the silver sides in. They start chasing each other. Some of the guys that have some of the bigger pieces of the bait fish that I was using, and this is the beginning, the true beginning, I should say, of the feeding frenzy. Personally, I think it's hilarious just how little it actually takes these little guys to get going for the most part. Like, literally, it took one or two of the mama chunks to come up and just start ripping chunks out of the bait fish for everyone to want to come and get a piece of the action. You know what I mean? Like, these little guys are just such opportunistic little scavengers, and they'll take whatever they can get. And in this case, it's me who lowered a camera down there. You can see some of the mama chunks. They're coming right up to the camera. They are, frankly, they're such cool fish. Like, the silver sides, they're super cool to see, but, like, the mama chunks, I don't know. I don't know what it is about them. I just love the coloration. I love the little stripes that they have. They're just such interesting looking fish to me. The silver sides are beautiful, don't get me wrong, but like the mama chunks, they hold a little special place in my heart. Something I do want to talk about is sort of the philosophy that I have behind these videos, and mainly in how I produce them. So, like, my main mentality is to try not to sensationalize the harbor in many ways. Like, one of the common critiques that I get is that people genuinely believe that there isn't anything living in the Baltimore harbor, that the amount of industrial pollution that we've been either purposefully or inadvertently dumping into the harbor over the last 300 years or so has basically killed off the entire ecosystem. I mean, these videos alone prove that there's stuff living in there. There is actually a thriving ecosystem down there that, while harmed by a lot of pollution, it's still there. It's not like there isn't anything living down there, you know? So, with that in mind, I am trying to show basically everything that I've seen. So, like, there are tons of videos that I've gotten that are just like this, where you see tons of fish, hundreds of fish. Mostly these little guys swimming around, living their lives, having the best of a time that they can while trying not to be eaten, you know? But in the same vein, there have also been instances where I've gotten recordings where I've pulled the camera rig up after spending an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours sitting along one of the piers in Baltimore, and there was nothing swimming around that day. Like, literally nothing. It's 3 hours of nothing almost, you know? And I'm still working on a way of incorporating those kinds of videos into the stuff that I produce, but like, this isn't an exact science. You never know what's going to be swimming around. There will be instances where you'll get tons of life, tons of activity, like you're seeing here, but this isn't always what's going on down there. There will be lots of downtime. There will be lots of instances where there's just nothing around for the most part. Most of the time, though, it's going to be somewhere in the middle of these two extremes, though. Like, it'll be an hour and a half of footage, and there will be a couple instances where something is swimming by or something comes up to the camera. And for the most part, I kind of have to sift through the footage and just see what I've got, you know? To bring all of this back to what I mean by I'm not trying to sensationalize the harbor, though, is that I'm trying to show sort of how it is. That there will be like times where there's tons of stuff swimming around, and then other times that there's nothing, or that sometimes there's just one or two things swimming around at any given time, and that it isn't one way or the other. I'm trying to show the whole, if you will, kind of give you the most holistic idea of what's actually living in the Baltimore harbor. And part of why I'm trying to show this is that, frankly, it's still worth preserving. It's still worth trying to rehabilitate and actually prevent any further environmental damage and degradation from happening. It kind of harkens back to a philosophy held by many scientific disciplines that even if your results, you aren't getting results back, that in and of itself is a result. So with me doing these videos, even in instances where it's quite literally 3 hours of nothing, no result is still a result, and it's still interesting. It's still something to look into. Why wasn't there anything particularly swimming around that day? Was it temperature? Was it salinity? Was it what was going on? Were there lots of ships going by that day? Was it tied to the time of day? These are things that are actually really interesting to consider when trying to track some of these behaviors, some of these appearances, if you will, because for the most part, it's kind of difficult. It depends on the location, the time of day, everything. Actually, funny enough, I just realized I lied looking back at the footage. There was just a large fish that went by, so I'm going to make sure to go back and actually put a circle so you know, hey, there's something big coming by. Anywho, I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of like how am I actually producing these videos? Why do I produce them the way that I do? And kind of give you a little bit of a sneak peek almost of like some of the other footage that I have and potentially how I might be able to use it in many different ways, you know? Like some of those instances of where I caught nothing on camera, I probably am going to use those for B-reel and use those as backgrounds for different things. But frankly, I have no idea just yet. Regardless, though, it's still a result. It's still something worth noting. And I just need to figure out a good way to actually show that to you that'll be interesting. You know what I mean? Like, I highly doubt anyone's going to want to watch what is effectively a blank screen for any amount of time, let alone the full playback time. Like, all of these videos, I edit them to make it so that they're actually at least somewhat interesting to watch, where you aren't really getting stuck in a lot of the downtime. Like, even this footage is being played at 1.5 times speed right now, but there have been instances where I've sped it up to 5 times speed. There, in other videos, I've gone all the way up to 100 times speed just to really try and get through some of those like just periods of downtime. Who knows? Maybe for funsies, I'll throw up like a 4, 5, 6 hour long cut of just literally nothing, honestly. Really, I'm just curious to see if anyone would be willing to watch something like that. I personally think it would be hilarious. Don't get me wrong. You know what? Maybe I'll actually do that just for fun. I mean, so many people will leave comments like, so nothing. And like, give them a video where it's actually just nothing for like 8 hours straight. I don't know. I'm figuring it out. Anywho, we are getting to that point in the video where it is getting time to start wrapping up everything, so let's take a look at what we've actually seen today. So if you make it to the end of the video, you would have spent a grand total of around 36 minutes underwater. That actually brings our total time underwater across all of the long form videos that I've done up to a total of 416 minutes at this point. Pretty decent chunk of time. Today, we pretty clearly saw at least 3 different species. Plenty of silver sides, plenty of mummichunks. The larger fish in the back, the couple that did get close enough for me to actually at least attempt to make an ID, I'm fairly certain that those were gizzard shad, as we've seen previously at this location. They have the exact same shape. The one that came especially close, like that one, spot on, was a gizzard shad. So we're just going to go with that for all of them. It's likely that there are other species swimming around while we do this, but if I can't make a good enough ID, I'm not even going to try. And since we've seen these species before in other videos, that leaves our total at 15 total species seen across all videos. So even though we didn't see anything new today, we did get to hang out with a whole bunch of fish, and hopefully you had fun. Hope to see you on the next one. Thank you for watching, and yeah, thank you.